AFTV Daily is powered by NordVPN, bringing you all the action from the World Cup in Qatar. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV in Qatar. We are back. Hold on a minute. Who's this? Ty. What's he want now?
Robbie, who's this malware player I've seen floating about? I've heard he's nothing but trouble.
No, Ty, it's malware. Malware is dangerous. It's a bit like Tottenham spying on Arsenal, nicking all our strategies and using it to win the Premier League.
No, forget, we don't want, no.
This guy Ty, man. Listen, if you want to stop malware, just get yourself a NordVPN. There's an AFTV special where you get 4 months free on a 2-year plan. And remember, if it's not for you, you get a 30-day back money guarantee. Go to nordvpn.com/AFTV to be invincible today. Do it right now. Trust me, it keeps you secure when you're on the road. Now, you will be wondering, where have you been, Robbie, over the past couple of days? You've probably been partying it up in Qatar, totally ignoring what you're here for, to do your work. Well, let me tell you this, man. I got struck down over the last 3 to 4 days. I'm going to call it the Arabian flu. That's what I'm going to call it, because it's not COVID. But the last time I felt this rough was COVID. For something to stop me from doing videos, you know it's got to be bad. And it had me, man. It had me the past couple of days. It had me under pressure. But I'm back, right? So listen, it's good to be sort of out of bed and outside and just enjoying the fresh air. And it's a beautiful day over here in Qatar. And I'll tell you what, my brother sent me a picture of England yesterday and the snow and how many disruptions there's been. And I know there's been some tragic incidents in the UK as well. So to everybody in the UK, wrap up warm. And it's crazy the contrast here with the weather in comparison to the UK right now. But good to be back, good to be back. And of course, there's an Arsenal game taking place today, the second friendly that's taking place over in Dubai. This time, Arsenal taking on AC Milan. Now, we had a very good win the other day against Lyon in our opening game. I know a lot of people said it was only a friendly, it's only Lyon. Lyon did actually go on to beat Liverpool in the other friendly in that Dubai Cup. Arsenal now taking on AC Milan, and should be interesting. You know, AC Milan on paper, a better team. And also, we're starting to get towards the end of the World Cup period now, when games will return. Remember, the World Cup final is going to be taking place this weekend. And then after that, all the teams will be returning back to normal football, with our first game kicking off on Boxing Day against West Ham. Now, good to see the return of certain players over there in Dubai. Ben White, of course, who left the England squad early. He's joined up with the Arsenal squad. Still a lot of questions being asked. Why did he leave early? You know, he's not answering those. He's just basically saying that he's just glad to be back at Arsenal. And we're glad to have him back and glad to see him back. And if you look by all of the messages he's been sending on social media, he's really, really looking forward to getting back down to business. Other players joining back up with the squad. Partey, Xhaka, Martinelli, all of them back with the squad over there in Dubai. Saka as well. Now, whether they'll feature is going to be a very interesting thing to see. Listen, I can't expect Saka to possibly feature. I'll be totally surprised. Maybe Martinelli didn't play in the last Brazilian game. Xhaka and Partey maybe might figure in the game, but could be a stronger team than what we saw out last week. And of course, I really enjoyed watching that game last week, because I just thought that, you know, it just looked good watching Arsenal play again, and the way in which we play. One of the things I've noticed in this World Cup in comparison to watching games in the Premier League is that you don't really see teams over here in the World Cup pressing. You know, they'll allow teams to have the ball in their own half, wait until they get into their half and then press them then. England pressed quite well the other night, as a matter of fact, but there hasn't really been a lot of sort of high-press teams like what you see in the Premier League with Arsenal, with Man City, with Liverpool. You haven't really seen a lot of that in the World Cup. A lot of the World Cup has been a lot more pragmatic in their approach. I guess it's a tournament and there's games happening every 3 to 4 days, so teams have to kind of come up with a different strategy. But Yeah, really interesting, the contrast, and I'm looking forward to seeing Arsenal play AC Milan today. And don't forget, check out the guys who've got a watch along in the studio going on for that game, so it's going to be really, really good. AC Milan, I think Arsenal will take it as well. Let's see how it works out. On the transfer front, still lots of transfer news hotting up all over the place as we're starting to get towards January. João Félix of Atletico Madrid and, of course, Portugal, who were knocked out of the World Cup by Morocco a couple of days ago. He's getting heavily linked with Arsenal. Marca, the very famous and popular Spanish publication, rate Arsenal as favourites to sign João Félix. Now, Félix is a Jorge Mendes, I was about to say owns, but, he's under his agency. Obviously, Arsenal have a decent relationship with that agent. But João Félix will cost a lot of money. We know that Mikel Arteta is a big fan of his. He's an excellent player, played really well in the World Cup. And we know that Atletico Madrid are willing to sell him. They paid £113 million for him. But he's just never, ever worked out under Simeone, and they will want to move him on. But what would the price be to get a player like João Félix? Surely they're going to demand at least £100 million for him. I just can't see Arsenal right now shelving out that sort of money. But Marca, as I said, making Arsenal the favourites at the moment for João Félix. Of course, we know the situation why we're being linked with a lot of strikers is because of Gabriel Jesus being out of the squad for, possibly 3 months. Another striker that we've been linked with is Ferran Torres. Now, Ferran Torres, formerly of Manchester City, didn't really work out for him there. He's gone to Barcelona, moved there last January for around about £55 million. Hasn't really kicked off for him there either. Was in the Spanish squad, didn't really score any goals. You know what I mean? I mean, he's one of these players at the moment that is flattering to deceive. But Mikel Arteta, of course, knows him, does like him a lot. Probably would, if Barcelona were willing to sell him, wouldn't come with the sort of fee that a João Félix would cost. Maybe they may be willing to let him go possibly in January. Would Arsenal be interested in bringing in a Ferran Torres? And would Ferran Torres be willing to leave Barcelona to come back to England? Those are one of those debates that we're going to have to watch and see, and I'm sure we'll be having right throughout the January transfer window. And of course, there's Mykhailo Mudryk, who is still being heavily linked. I noted yesterday that David Ornstein was saying that, this looks like it's a priority for Arsenal. They are looking to get it done. Obviously, Shakhtar Donetsk wants a very, very high fee for him. Arsenal are not willing to pay that. We know that the player wants to come to Arsenal. He's an exciting player, described as the Ukrainian Neymar. Done well in the Champions League this season. Really does look the part. He's still young. Got lots and lots of room to develop. Will Arsenal try and get him in January? Seems to make perfect sense. But let's wait and see how that one turns out. I think it would be a really exciting signing if Arsenal could get it done. And what about Yuri Tielemans? That's all gone quiet, isn't it? All summer, it was literally, anybody watch Transfer Daily, it was literally Tielemans' watch every single day. It didn't happen by the end of that. Yuri Tielemans still available. Remember, when we get to January, less than 6 months left on his deal, and at the end of the season, he can walk away for free. So will Arsenal make a move for Yuri Tielemans in January? Remember, the season's starting back in Boxing Day, and it's going to be a hard season right down to the end. We want to see if we can get to the end, still top. To do that, we're going to need a bigger squad for sure. So, semi-finals over here in the World Cup today. Croatia, yet again, what a team that punches above its weight. Yet again in another World Cup semi-final. 2 in a row for Croatia. Remember last time they actually got all the way to the final. They're taking on Argentina. I'm going to be at that game later on. I'm looking forward to that one. The Argentina fans have lit up this tournament. I'd love them to go all the way for them. But do not discount Croatia. They are a very good team. They dispatched of Brazil in the last round. Can they dispatch of Argentina as well? Looking forward to that game today, Croatia versus Argentina. And listen, thanks for watching today. Thanks for your patience. I ain't been here the past couple of days. There's been a lot of talk about drinking. Oh, you can't get no alcohol over here in Qatar. Let me tell you this, right? This is what you need in Qatar when you're not feeling well. This has been my best friend over the last couple of days. Water. I'll tell you that. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Also to DR Sports. We can catch a watch along today to the Croatia versus Argentina game, and also catch up with me later on when I'm speaking to fans after the game. It's going to be big tonight. And also you can see the watch along on AFTV later on, AC Milan versus Arsenal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.